Hello and welcome to the West Yorkshire Football Show. I'm Chris Bell and I'm joined by Huddersfield Town fan and from the Huddersfield Hub, Steve Downs. So, mate, you all right?
Not bad. How are you, mate?
Yeah, very well. I wasn't quite sure how to title this particular preview looking ahead to the final two games of the season, but I did kind of think after that win against Cardiff on Saturday that it might possibly be job done, or it kind of has that feel about it. We'll start by looking back at that, though, and obviously against the relegation rival in the situation that the sides at the bottom are in, what appears to be the perfect win.
Yeah, it was a weird one, really, because Cardiff had played Rotherham on the Thursday night and beat Rotherham. So that sort of made them safe, it sort of ish. And then the games went into Saturday, and results all worked out that Cardiff were totally safe on 49 points. So they went into our game literally knowing that it didn't matter what the score was going to be, that they were safe and that they are in the Championship for next season. So it came down really then to us and Reading, which is still the case. We had to beat Cardiff, I thought, really, to be honest, especially because we've got Sheffield United tomorrow, which we're going to touch on, and then Reading on the last day of the season. So we had to sort of beat Cardiff, and we managed to do it. Fantastic goal by Humbo, who came on at half time for Diarra, who had not played too bad, but Humbo really made a difference, I thought, and scored a great goal. And then Matty Pearson, who has been the goal scoring machine of late. What do they call him? The Keithley.
Is it the Keithley Cannavaro or something that?
That's it, Keithley Cannavaro. Yeah, exactly. And Sky, a couple of games ago, or was it the BBC? It was one of them. Put on one of their match reports tweets that the Keithley Cannavaro scored for Huddersfield Town, and so they actually thought his name was Keithley Cannavaro, not Matty Pearson, which was quite funny. But anyway, he got the goal. He actually headed it down, and it came off the Cardiff man's leg, so it's gone down as an own goal, but we didn't care really, and neither did the 2,000 fans that travelled. 2-1 up, we could have had a third and even possibly a fourth, didn't take the chances, and Cardiff got a goal back, and really it was very nervous for the last sort of minutes of the game, to be honest. They pushed forward a little bit more. I had no idea why, because he didn't know what to play for, but for some reason he wanted to make it nervous. It wouldn't be Huddersfield Town Football Club, though, would it, if we didn't have a bit of nerves at the end. And the full-time whistle went, and it was more about relief, I think, for everybody connected with the club, to be honest. The fact that we got these 3 vital points, and now we know we just need 1 point from last 2 games and we're safe. But 1 point in a Huddersfield Town world is difficult to come by.
Yeah, but in the form that you've been under Warnock on the whole, there's certainly got to be surely cause for optimism there that even if it doesn't quite come tomorrow night against Sheffield United, that Reading, whilst they will of course be going all out to try and scupper things, that Warnock will get that mentality into the players to see it through.
Yeah, well, he's come out in his press conference as of today, which we're on Wednesday.
Wednesday now, aren't we?
We're on Wednesday. It's a weird week because obviously we've got the 2 bank holidays in between and all that going on. But yeah, it is Wednesday. So his press conference was today, and he said that he wants a win against Sheffield United. He's told the lads to go out and beat them. Obviously they are already promoted, but by no means seem to be on the beach. They beat Preston 4-1 very convincingly in their last match. They're after a record point total for Sheffield United in this division. So they've obviously got something still to aim for. They're a very good side, we know that. And Paul Eckingbottom, being a Yorkshireman, will obviously relish the chance to come up against Warnock and sort of teach him a thing or two, which will be interesting. I think there's a lot of respect there, unlike what there was with Chris Wilder. But I think, for Paul, I think there's a lot of respect there from Neil's point of view, and so it should be an entertaining game. Sadly, I won't be at it, and I won't be at the Reading game either. I know people might call that a bit of a half-ass sort of
I'll be honest, mate. I was surprised when you said it.
disappointment.
I mean, I'll be honest. It sounds like a just terrible booking, really. So you're
Yeah,
away in Belfast, and why did you not look at the fixtures,
I
especially for the last
know.
day of the season?
Well, to be fair though, the Sheffield United ruined the Thursday night game because they went and tried to beat Manchester City in the FA Cup semi-final. So that's their fault entirely. The Reading game, yeah, I get that. I maybe should have looked at the fixtures. So it's going to be a nervy time in the Belfast airport on the Monday if it does go down to the final game. But hopefully I can be celebrating on Friday. Well, probably Friday lunchtime with a pint of Guinness in my hand, and we're all safe because we've either beaten or drawn against Sheffield.
Couple of things before we fully look at the Sheffield United game that I wanted to touch on from the Cardiff one. Actually, firstly was, as you mentioned, Hungbo, who largely I get the impression for Huddersfield Town fans has been a pretty decent signing, but a little bit hit and miss at times. For him to get the goal that broke the deadlock, obviously, is massive.
Yeah, I think that's probably bang on, really, in terms of your assessment that he has been um, slightly hit and miss, but has produced some quality moments at times. I think with a consistent run of games under a manager that probably can get the best out of him, he might be worth a look at next season for us to say to Watford, look, what do you want for him? I don't see him being an expensive buy. I'm sure Watford, are probably keen to get him off the books. So, yeah, for us, I think why not? He's only a young lad. He's got plenty of energy and speed about him, and probably just needs, like I said, a bit of a run of game. A bit like Josh Koroma, really. He needs a bit of love, and somebody to tell him, where the right areas are, and put some proper coaching hours into him. And I think Warnock has managed to do that. But obviously, because he's been in and out of the side, he's not really had that consistent run. So yeah, but I've been sort of semi-impressed with Hungbo.
Yeah, certainly potentially something about him that makes you, as you mentioned, look to next season maybe. And the other
Yeah,
thing that struck me with the Cardiff game was, of course, for Neil Warnock going back to a former club, given obviously the fact that it was a slightly more relaxed situation for Cardiff. But at the end of the game, the applause and the ovation for Neil Warnock from not just the Huddersfield but from the Cardiff fans as well was something to behold. Really,
yeah. Well, it were obviously Yorkshiremen and Welshmen and women have got a lot of things in common. And yeah, they want a dry eye in the house on Sunday evening. I think Neil really appreciated their sort of appreciation of him. He did fantastic there, didn't he? Turned them around from being relegation sort of scrappers into, being promoted.
yeah,
So, he will be a legend at that club forevermore. You could tell before the game in the footage that I've seen that the Cardiff fans just absolutely love him. And, he loves that area as well and got special times there. I think that's why it was earlier on in the season that it was a surprise to me that he turned the Cardiff job down, really, before coming to us, because there was a chance that he could have gone there. So, from his point of view, brilliant. And obviously the 2,000 Town fans there, we love Neil. I said to Steve the other night, and I've done for weeks, if he keeps us up, it's a miracle. It is a bona fide miracle. Nobody gave us a chance after that Norwich City game. And the fact he's come in, and despite losing 4-0 games and odd bad goals here and there, he's managed to turn it round where we're in 2 games and 1 point of staying up.
yeah. Fingers crossed for that. That obviously you can get that point in these next 2 games, and of course for Neil Warnock as well. He's going from one game against a club that he's well respected and well loved at to another one on tomorrow night in Sheffield United. Of course, another side that he guided to promotion. Admittedly, quite a few more years ago now, though.
Yeah, obviously that's his team, and it's Sheffield. He loves the city and loves that particular side of Sheffield. It's, I mean, what he did there was legendary status. We've all, or if you haven't, check out the documentary. And I mean that season they didn't go up, but the season after they did, I think. And you don't get a bad word about Neil at Sheffield United, and that just shows the stature of the man, really. And it's same at Huddersfield Town Football Club. Sheffield have done very well this season. I mean, I didn't necessarily tip them to be in the top two. I certainly had them down to be a playoff team. But that just shows what the job that Paul Eckingbottom's done. I mean, I like Paul Eckingbottom. I think he did a great job at Barnsley. And he's been harshly treated in other jobs. So, I think from his point of view, it's a big marker that he's put down, really, to get a club like Sheffield into the Premier League, especially as well with all the trouble that's behind the scenes there at the moment. I know their owner's come out and said he wants out and all that sort of stuff. So, there's a lot going on there. And at a club like Sheffield, as we've seen, it can, if it goes bad, it goes really bad, doesn't it? And they get relegated back down to League One. So, I have no out against Sheffield fans, and I don't think they have out against us. I mean, I know we beat them in 2012, but, they're a big club, and if I'm being honest, I prefer them to the other side of Sheffield, to the Wendy's. I think Sheffield fans are a bit more humble, a bit more humility about them. Don't think that they're big heads like Wednesday fans, and so I don't mind Sheffield. I'm quite glad they've gone up. I like their quite a number of the players as well. Although it shocked me the other day that I got told that the Oliver Norwood, our ex player, has now had 6 promotions on his CV.
Crikey.
6, and I think they're all to the Premier League as well. I'm pretty sure that's the case. So it's quite, for somebody who was bought for what, 200 grand. He's not had a bad career since leaving town, is he? Really?
Yeah, he's a damn good player, to be fair. Anyhow, I know, but 6, that's
Yeah,
staggering.
I think it's 6. It definitely was definitely above 4. So, but the stat I heard was it was 6. So he's had 2 with Sheffield. I think I'm trying to remember. I worked it out the other day. Brighton. I think he had 1 with Brighton, and
Yeah,
then I'd have to get the list of clubs up that he's been at, but yeah, 6. Amazing, really, isn't it?
yeah, that is some statistic if that's the case. In terms of the actual game itself, then, as you say, the fact that Sheffield United are automatically up, and yes, they're going for a record points total and all that, but realistically, do you think that the fact that they are already at least promoted makes that a little bit more of a enticing prospect to pick up that all important at least 1 point to keep you up?
I think from their point of view, it's more of a mentality thing, isn't it? If they want to reach that record points total, they'll go out and do it, won't they? They've shown that against. They were promoted already before they played Preston,
And it
and
took
then
them apart, yeah.
and they took them apart, didn't they? So, and that's I mean, I don't know if that's because they were a Lancastrian club or whatever, but I'm sure they'll want to do it in a Yorkshire derby against us. We've just got to, I think, go for it, really. We seem to play better on the front foot. We did against Sunderland, certainly 2 weeks ago, and I know that they're not as good as Sheffield United are, but Sheffield can be beatable. They're not Manchester City. They haven't got Erling Haaland up front. They've got, what's his name?
Billy
What's his
Sharp,
name? No, well, yeah, he always scores against us. That's what I'm worried about.
is that a given?
Yeah, because he's also into on his 250th goal for Sheffield or something.
Oh,
His
I
next,
don't know. You'd
his next goals, I think, he's 250th, and so obviously he'll be wanting to do that, won't he? Before he hangs up his boots. I think that's all he's waiting for, really. He'll probably carry on forever until he gets that goal, won't he? So, but yeah, it should be an entertaining game. I mean, they're a quality side. I can't say that they're not. But let's hope that they have a bit of an off day. They're not fancying it on a lukewarm Thursday night in Huddersfield, and that they're quite happy for us to just nip a point. I'd be happy with it 0-0. No, what happens, to be honest. Could be the most boring game in the Championship for me ever.
Yeah,
I'd be
I can.
happy.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Innit? All you want is the point. It doesn't matter how it comes. Just get
There
that
was
point.
If there was no shots, no corners, no throw-ins, not even a throw-in, it'd be delightful.
I mean, it's one of those. I've had a couple of mates that have been like, they quite like it to go to the final day. I will quickly point out they're not Huddersfield fans; they're
No, I would
neutral
have
in
said.
this, and they all everybody from a neutral perspective always everybody wants that final day drama as long as it's not involving your team. But in this case, I'd be quite happy for Huddersfield to just get it done tomorrow night, get something, make it easy, and also obviously as we talked over the course of the season, I'd much rather Huddersfield on the side to stay up than Reading.
Well, I mean, at least we've got a bit of history, haven't we? But in terms of the getting it done tomorrow, it'd be nice for Neil as well. Last day,
Yeah.
note to play for, sunny day. You know, Reading will come to the ground. They've got note to play for because they know the position they're already in, and it just be that and make it the perfect day, really. If it was done tomorrow night.
Yeah, and it give the Huddersfield fans as well that chance to give Warnock. I was gonna say a send off, but I'm not gonna use send off. I'm gonna be like the opportunity to persuade him to stay for next season. I've said it
No,
to you umpteen times.
it's not happening, Chris. It's not happening. He's not staying. Not staying.
But
I'd love him to stay. I
you'd
don't.
love it
Don't.
if he did.
Oh, I'd love him to stay, but I don't think he's. I don't think he's got the energy to do a full season. I think what he's done is the miracle that hopefully is going to be done. I don't think he wants to stay on for a full season. And he'd be quite happy. I mean, I'm going to a special event with Warnock on the 11th of May, so I'm hoping that we stay up and it's like when he comes in the room, he
Is
cheered
is,
him and a legend and all that.
is that on his tour? I have seen that
No,
he's doing like an anecdotal tour at some point. I think it might be a little bit later in the year, perhaps, but I haven't seen
I,
tickets about that. And thinking I really should try and get tickets for that.
I've already been to that. So basically, he came to Huddersfield. It was one of his first ones. It could have been his third one. It could have been his third one, and he did it in November. And we just sort of announced, that bloody idiot that we had in before, he'd been in for a couple of month or two. And Warnock came back, and everybody were like, clapped him. And, I think he really touched with the reception that he got that night. It was a brilliant night, by the way. I do. I mean, I'm not one of Warnock's agents trying to sell tickets, but you try and get a ticket if you get a chance because it's a good laugh. It's a good evening.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's going all over the country now. He's even going to Bristol, where he's hated. And Ipswich. But no, this evening's for the Town Foundation, so it's not really on his tour. It's just an extra night that he's doing to help raise money for the foundation, which is lovely. And as I've spoke about before, all the great work that the foundation do for schools and meals, and obviously sort of the environment and all that sort of thing is brilliant. So that's going to be like a special evening. That's on the 11th. So if we do manage to stay up, it'll be very interesting to see what he's got to say. Really, I mean, might tell some stories about what's happened in the last 8 weeks, which will be interesting. So that'll be good. But let's hope that he gets it over the line tomorrow. Last day we go into against Reading. Again, no against them, but if it's between us and them going down, I hope
Yeah.
it's them.
Yeah. Exactly. It's a no-brainer, isn't it? Like at the end of the day, everything that counts on the final day, the only thing that counts is survival.
The only thing that worries me is obviously we beat them in the playoff final, and you always have that thing of it. Things go around in circles, don't they? So let's hope it doesn't go down to the final day.
I wonder just how many Reading fans are currently clinging on to that kind of hope, that little thing in the back of the head.
They're clinging on to it, and we're just praying it don't happen. That's. But as I said to Steve the other day, it's just mad, isn't it? You play a game 6 years ago for £120 million, and then 6 years later you're playing in a game that's worth potential £8 million next season. It's
and
just
to see who drops into Sky Bet
the
League One.
the third division of English football when the other game was to go into the Premier League. It's
It
just
it is staggering, and it's also more staggering, I guess, from obviously when you look back at that whole 6 years, just from everything that's happened in that time. In particular, of course, for Huddersfield Town to go from the 120 odd million pound prize of the Premier League and staying up there and all that money then to where you are now.
Yep, and I do believe, I could be wrong here, so if somebody wants to point it out, be my guest. But if Jonathan Hogg plays in that last game, he will be the only player that played in that playoff final to play in this game as well.
Fair play, Jonathan Hogg, in that case.
So I think, because I don't think there's anybody from Red, because obviously, who left Reading this year? The Swift, he played in it. But he left, didn't he?
Yeah, he's
Where
at
is he
West
now?
Brom.
West Brom now. Yeah. So I don't think there's anybody left. I could be wrong, but I don't believe so.
No,
So
more than likely right.
I mean, I think we've got more quality than Reading, if I'm being honest. On his day, I do think we are a better team, but I really don't want to take that chance. I just hope we get it done tomorrow. It's because it makes it a long weekend, doesn't it? I'm not going to enjoy my time in Belfast that much if it goes down to the final day.
It's mad when you think back actually, because of course that 6 point deduction for Reading is kind of what's put them in this position. Otherwise, if everything had have kind of stayed the same bar that, you'd still be going to the final day needing a win to try and stay up.
No, well, it'd have been done, wouldn't it?
Would it? Well, hang on, let me think. Because what we on
No,
now?
Rotherham are safe. Rotherham are safe.
Yeah, but you're only 2 points behind Cardiff, so Reading would be what, up to 19th?
Yeah. I see what you mean.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It could theoretically have gone the final day, but it is mad though, just how in the grand. I mean, Reading fans must be fuming, given that whole circumstance. That the reason they're in this now is that points deduction because of the mismanagement at their club, which they, as fans, can do nothing about.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's the people that's put their club in that position are the people at the top, and unfortunately, I'm sorry to say that whilst I have sympathy with Reading fans, I absolutely do, and any fan of any club there where their owner has not been, led the club in the best possible way, they broke the rules. And you break the rules, and the EFL have finally stood up and got some cojones. Although they could do with a fair few more, but they've actually taken some action. I mean, really, it should have been 12 points to Reading deducted if we want to stick by the total proper rules, because they had 6 points deducted and 6 suspended. Well, they already had 6, and this should have made it 12. And they've just got another 6, so they could have already been relegated already. But I think they should be slightly thankful that they've got a last chance saloon, because we've still been in it,
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Well, just to kind of finish up then, predictions. Come on then, mate. I mean, are you going to get it done tomorrow first and foremost? Are you going to get that point out of Sheffield United, and then happy days on the final day?
In my heart, I want us to draw 0-0, and as I said, just it be absolutely finished. I actually think Sheffield might beat us 2-0, something like that. I don't think we'll get a hammering like they did at Preston. But I do think they'll probably beat us tomorrow, and I do think it will go down to the final day. And then against Reading, well, hope can happen on the final day, can't it? Sorry. I think no, it's just it's tiring thinking about all the possibilities. That's what it is. I think we will, lose 2-0 to Sheffield, and I think we'll beat Reading 2-1, and and we'll score in like the 80th minute or something like that. It'll be so nervy on Monday.
That sounds like you're basically making it as stressful as humanly possible there.
Yeah, because
it's down.
I've supported the club for 15 years, and in that 15 years, I think we've only been Well, in 15 years, I've never known us finish mid-table by one season. I think maybe a 1-2 seasons. So the other 13 seasons, we've either got relegated or promoted. So
There's always been something to play for.
yeah, I really hope next season we can just finish 14th and just be like what Ipswich did for a decade, and we're just
Yeah.
average. That'd be really nice. That it'd be
That's
really
fair.
good. It'd be really. It won't be fun, but it'd be really good.
Yeah, I know what you're into, mate. It's just this, like, yeah, I fully appreciate what you're saying there. Sometimes it would just be nice to have a season where you don't have to worry or
Mate,
get like
I'm
really giddy and then end in heartbreak.
I'm 26, right? I can't deal with another 15 years of this roller coaster ride because I won't make 50.
Of course, tomorrow night's game is on Sky. With it being rearranged, they've taken the opportunity to
No,
put it. Is
no,
it
it's
not?
not.
Is it
No,
not?
no. Your information is incorrect.
Is it not? I cannot believe that.
No, no, it's not on Sky.
I thought it was part of this whole like 10-day run of or whatever it is of them
No.
showing AFL games. Oh well, I'm gutted then because I really wanted to watch it.
Might be on the red button, but it's not on the main Sky channel.
It could be on the red button. I mean,
Could be on the red button, but we don't find that out until about 10 minutes before kickoff.
I was going to say I'll press it and find out. I'll just be there like red button. Anything, nothing.
Yeah, it's all because of the FA Cup. That's why they had to rearrange it all. It was nothing to do with Sky. It was all to do with.
See, I knew it was obviously, as you say, down to Sheffield United and their cup run. I just thought
Yeah,
Sky would have jumped on this because,
I thought
although
so.
actually, have they got a Prem game? That's the big question. Have they got a Premier League game instead on Thursday?
Who wants to watch that?
Well, no, I agree entirely in this case, but I feel like United might be on.
Yeah.
But, well, in that case, is there any tickets left?
Yeah, there probably is. So get yourself down. Why
Oh,
not?
don't
As
tempt
long
me.
as it's not in the away end, for Sheffield, well, you better be in the town end.
Oh, of course. I mean, that's hopefully where there'll be a handful of empty seats, yeah?
Well, what do you mean handful of empties? No, we'll be fun.
I'll be honest, mate.
You
I was trying not to rip the piss out of you then, and I was
Yeah.
trying to be nice. So
Yes, but you failed. So you failed just like Mark Fotheringham did. So get back in your box.
Excellent. Well, fingers crossed, mate, for tomorrow night. Then enjoy Belfast
you.
whilst you'll be, I don't know, glued to a radio or at least a score app on your phone or something.
Yeah.
Enjoy Belfast.
I'll try.
And
I'll enjoy it a lot more if we get a point tomorrow.
given that you're not back before Monday, we'll speak to you after whatever happens has happened.
My God, that could either be a celebration show or an absolute depression.
Yeah. There's so much riding on the next, 5? What are we on now? Sorry, Wednesday. 5 days or so.
I might not sleep. I might just come on the next show, and you might have to like try and wet me up with some noise or something. Because
when are you back? Monday.
I'm back Monday. I literally land about an hour after the game's finished. So probably for half the game, I won't know what the score is. So I'll be in the air.
Are you still not allowed to have your phone switched on planes?
Well, I don't think I won't name the company, but I don't think the company that we're going with will necessarily have Wi-Fi.
I can take a guess.
Well, you can guess if you want.
Is it some fella called Brian?
Brian?
Brian, that knockoff Brian Air.
No, it's not Brian Air. It's not Brian Air.
Jet Free?
No, it's not Jet Free. It's Aer Lingus. There you go.
See, what you've just done there is given the actual company away some advertising, but hey ho, I don't think they'll appreciate it anyway.
No, I don't think they'll get charged for it for some reason.
No worries, mate. Well, I'll say enjoy Belfast. Try and enjoy your week away. Fingers crossed that there's positive news when we next speak to you next week. And we'll see how it goes, eh? All the best.
Cheers, mate. Lovely to see you anyway.
If you've liked what you've seen of our little preview of these games, don't forget you can like, subscribe, and share all the content from the West Yorkshire Football Show. Take care.